Hi, how you doing? This is Travis from Curiosity Marketing Group, and today I'm going to show you how to edit various parts on your website. So let's get started. So in order to log in, you'll go to the domain and then /login, which will take you to the login screen, and you can type in your username and password. If you currently don't have one, we can get one set up for you. So whenever you log in, it'll take you to the back end, to the dashboard, and here's basically just kind of some general information about the site. So the first part we will talk about is the slider here on the home page. So if we go to Pages and find the home page, should be at the very end, I think. Yep. And I'm going to open this in a new tab. So you notice there's some options down here, and the first thing is the slider section. So you'll see the image, header, subheader, URL. So the way that it works is the image itself, the header, subheader, and then the URL, if you see at the bottom left hand corner, is what's linking to the image. You just kind of work your way through the images. If there isn't one, it won't show up. So if we go back to the home page, if you ever wanted to edit this, let me just, so I can see what it is. Boy jumping. Okay. Whoops. So if you wanted to edit it, you can hit remove, add, and find your image. And if it's currently not in the media library, you can hit upload files, select files, and then it'll open up your computer browser where you just need to navigate to the image, click on it, hit OK, and it'll upload into the media library. I'll also search in here, so I'm going to search for that photo. So if I click on the photo and click select, and also note the dimension here, so it's 1600 by 669, and that's just to keep it within that box and keep it nice and looking good. So this is the image I want to use, and hit select, and you'll notice that it shows it. If you ever wanted to move them, you can literally drag and drop them, and it'll change the order. If you ever wanted to add another one, you can add another one. If you want to remove it, you hit remove, and then you can hit update. So the next part we will talk about is the events here. So the events are located here. Let me close out of this. So it's not in the pages, but it's over here in the events and festivals. And the way that you do these is you can, let me look into a drafted one. So you can click on edit or hit the title, and you'll see title, featured image, the introduction about it, address, if it had a website, if it has a telephone number, then the event date. And whenever you type in the address, it'll find the location for you, and it's using Google Maps in order to locate it. And I'll show you based on the date is how they are sorted, and that's how they work through here. So okay, so for here, for instance, this has an expiration date, so you want to make sure that you set an expiration date for basically as soon as it's happening. So for instance, this one's December 10th, 2018 at 6, which is when the event is. So at that time it will expire. And let me go back out to the front end. So that's how it comes in here. That's how it comes in here. And then if I go to, let's see, I go to, oh, I'm getting lost here. Oh, there it is, events and festivals. And that is also how this page works as well. So this is how they get displayed here, which I'll come back to this page, but I'm just trying to show you all the different areas where they come in. So let's go back out to the home page. If we go down to advertisements, we can talk about that now. It kind of works the same sort of way as the events. So if we click on advertisements and click all advertisements, you notice it's kind of set up the same way. So if we click on Smile Honey, and currently these don't have any expiration dates, but if they only pay to be on your website for a month, you can set it to a month from the current date. So this has the image, which these are all 300 by 250, I believe. Let me check. No, they're actually double sized, so they're 600 by 500, which is awesome. Double resolution is really great. So then if we go back, it works the same sort of way. If you want to remove it, you can hit remove, find it within your media library. This is the URL, which controls where it goes. And these are all outbound links, so they'll open in a new tab. And that's how advertisement works. And they're sorted throughout the various parts on the website. This next part down here, we'll talk about the listings, and these are already kind of categorized, and I'll show you how that works. So if we go to local listings, this is probably where I guess the most complicated or the most information needs to be inputted. So I'll be very clear on all the information that's needed. So you have your title. So if we go, let me find that specific listing so that it makes more sense when I'm referencing it. Okay, so edit or hit the title, and it'll allow you to edit it. Okay, so here is everything, and this is nice because this has actually a little bit of everything. Actually, it looks like everything filled out. Perfect. So, title, little tagline, introduction. This is the featured image, which is the smaller image, or I'm sorry, is this image here. And then the logo is this image here. This featured image is what's used out here. And then you have, like I said, the introduction and the tagline. So introduction goes here, and the tagline is up here. Taglines are normally supposed to be shorter, so like maybe a sentence, but some of them had, a couple paragraphs. So the next part will be the location. So once again, this kind of works the same way as the event. So address, website, telephone, if they have one. Whenever you type in the address, it should automatically find it for you. If it doesn't, you can always hit find address. Over here on the right hand side is where some more information is. So you have accessibility, locations, do, stay, places, play, and categories. And you don't necessarily need to worry about the post expirator unless that becomes a feature of a listing. Oh, sorry, I missed something. And the listing if it's featured. So what that does is that brings it out here, which is kind of randomly, for right now it's random every time that somebody refreshes. But I know we're looking to make that a 24-hour, it'll hold it and then refresh. But that's what gives it the star here, and gives it the star here, and puts it on the home page. So, like I said, the next part is over here. This is the accessibility. So these are basically what allows the user to search. So these are kind of the different variables that the user can pick in order to find specific listings. So you've got the accessibility options. You've got the locations, which are just, if we click choose most used locations, most of them should be used. These are all the different locations where the listings can be found. And then you have do, stay, places, and play. And these are the separate categories in which these listings can be categorized. It sounds kind of weird, but anyway, so you can do the same thing. So if you hit choose most used do's, so these are like things that you can actually go out and do. But since this is a vacation rental, this would be in the stay, and it's tagged under by owner and vacation rental. So it just depends on the listing that you're doing, depends on which one of these you would select. Now you don't want to select more than one because the listing should fit in just one of these categories. The very last thing is the actual category itself. Because we selected stay, because this is a vacation rental, we'll want to make sure that we hit stay within the actual category. And that helps just to kind of designate where it goes in the website. Yeah, okay, and that about does it for the listings. And that should work all the way across the board. So anytime we come up against a listing, it's the same area, and you would do it the same way. So there's a lot of options here to make the listings basically kind of do whatever you want. Okay, so let me exit out of here, and we can go to a page now. So if we go to Beach Waterway, St. Joseph Bay, and if any of these pages are similar, I probably won't go over them. I'll just note if there's any differences in them. So the first part we'll talk about is the image section up here. So this is, which one was this? St. Joseph. So let me find that real quick. Oh, did I skip it? Oh, sorry. That is actually under beaches and waterways. So, for these, so for St. Joseph Gulf, Dead Lakes, Intracoastal, and Indian Pass Lagoon, you'll find them all here. So as a reference, let's use the Indian Pass Lagoon. Hit edit. So once again, the slider is basically the same as the home page. So you've got your image and your title. So you got your image and your title here. And there is a introduction, which is this right up here, which is very similar to the listings tagline. It kind of works the same way. So then this information in here is scroll down, is the paragraphs here. So this is where all this information is. And you can just come in here and edit it. If you need to get rid of, let's say, bonfire, you can do that. So you can backspace that if you want. You can add hyperlinks to things. And actually, hold on one second. Let me change a setting of mine. Okay, let me refresh this. Okay, so if we go back, okay, there we go, sorry. So this is what's called the visual editor, which is very close to like a Word document. You can kind of do the same thing here. So, you can highlight, like I said, get rid of text, bring it back. If you want to bold it, you can bold it, italicize it, perfect. You can insert a link if you want. If there's links already here, you can hit the little pencil, and it actually shows you where it goes. You can remove it if you want, but if you hit edit and hit link options, you can actually open in a new tab if you like, and it also will show you some other pages and posts and things like that, and you can search for as well for existing content. Opening a link in a new tab would be, if it's an external link, gives you that option. And then all of these pages, like I said, so they all work the same way. Let's look at the pet-friendly beaches, which works the same way. These are the adventure guides, which I'll go into that shortly. We've already talked about the advertisements. We've already talked about the listings. So let's see, leave no trace is under the same template, so that works. Turtles, same thing. Okay, guide to adventure. So this is, we'll talk about this, and similar to the events, it all kind of lives in one place, and then it's used throughout the site. So if we go into adventure guides, you can go to adventure guides in the back end, and let's edit this one. Okay, so there's a couple things here. There's a couple different sections on this. So if we go up here, let's find, I think it's, okay, yeah, so I'm on the correct one. Okay, cool. So, the adventure guides options, let me go back to where I was. So the archive is this area here. So if we go to the back end, we can see you've got your image and some text using that visual editor, which we just talked about. So you got your text, title, who the author is, our little excerpt, which we were just talking about, and your story tags. So you've got picture, text, title, and your tags are over here. And it's similar to the listings, and what you can do is just hit choose most used, find which one you're looking for. So if it's an activity, and if there's areas, you can do that. And if there's a location for it, you can do that as well. So this one has a location associated to it. So then this will be the single, so this is when you get to the single page, will be here. So you've got, oops, sorry, let me close out of that. So you've got your introduction, which is up here, very similar to a lot of things that we've worked on. You've got your image, which is actually a slider, which you can use here. So you can just add images to it. This is very similar to what we were just talking about in the beach and waterways. So here's your other visual editor for it. And then you can select the author. You shouldn't have to select the author unless somebody supplies an article to you. If you're signed in, it should use your login. If not, then, like I said, you can come down here and select the author. And yeah, and I think that, oh, actually no, over here on the right hand side is the author's information. So that's actually found not within the adventure guides, but that's actually found within the users. So if we click on all users and we will look at Ronald, should be at the very bottom, we hit edit. So you're seeing here, there's a lot of options in here you don't necessarily need to worry about. The ones that you'll need to worry about for over here is the picture, their first name, last name, email, website, their little bio, and their phone number. And that's what controls all of this over here. So now if we go to, and these are all of the same except for, let me double check. Okay, so these are all using the same sort of template, and I'll just double check on all this. Okay. Yeah, it seems to be. Okay. So I know a different one would be Winter Fun. And these are all our winter events. It'll work the same sort of way. So underneath, or I'm sorry, above events is winter events. So if we click on that, click on edit. Oops, sorry. Let me click on that one. Edit. Actually, let's find that one. That'll make more sense. So we type in Gulf. Gulf County Tour of Homes. Gulf County Tour of Homes. Okay, we'll edit that. So you notice we have title, image, city, dates, the excerpt, email, website, phone, details, admission, and location. So the way that that'll work is title, image, the city, the dates, the little excerpt about it, phone number, details, location. I don't believe any of these have admission, but if it did have admission, just like you can notice here, because this one doesn't have a website, it doesn't show up. If it did have admission, it would be down here. So then over here on the right hand side is how you categorize it. So if it's a signature event, it'll pull up under the signature events tab, and then whatever month you put it on. So for instance, this one is February. So if we click on February, it'll be in here. And you can expire these as well. So for instance, we'll enable this on this one and go, we want this to expire February 20th, and we'll do it at 11 a.m. because that's when it ends, and hit update. Okay, so places to stay. Okay, so we've all talked about this, talked about ads, talked about listings. The concierge program is different. So if we go back into pages and go to the concierge, which is here, you'll notice we have the same sort of options here. They're just a little bit different. So you've got the card profile image and the quote image, and that's for each of the people involved. And then you have the quote section, which is image, author, title, and their information. So if we go out here, you've got their profile, their quotes, and then you have their image, author, title, and their little excerpt. If you ever wanted to edit the contact form on this page, you can go to contact, and they can be edited in here. Thing with the contact forms, they're a little, you need to know a little bit of code on these, so if these ever needed to be edited, if you ever need a field added, or you know, maybe a new selection added, or something along those lines, we'd be happy to help you out with that. So the next page is the map. So if you go on the back end again, and we go to maps, Click on Maps, and we hit Edit. And this one can get a little complicated as well. So a lot of this you don't need to worry about. It's all kind of set up for you. The only things that you'll need to really worry about are the markers. So if the marker is already in place and you want to edit the information, you can click Edit this marker. It'll pull up the marker and you can look at the title, the GPS, which actually the GPS is set up according to the address. So whenever I typed in the address here, it set it to actual GPS coordinates just to make it more specific. Then we have categories, and the categories make the icons. So, for instance, parks has a certain icon, and then marina has a certain icon, and so on and so forth. So depending on which category you pick, it'll show you that specific icon. And just to elaborate on this a little bit further, if we actually go into the categories, you can see that marina has this orange one, and so on and so forth. So this is already set up for you, just based on the category that you pick. If you ever need to edit the location, so actually where it's displayed on the map, it'll take you here and you can actually type in the latitude and longitude. And a good way of doing that is you can either drag it if you know exactly where it's at, or if we go to like maps.google.com, and I'm just going to type in Roadhouse because I can't think of anything else right now. Or Waffle House, that works. So if you click on this, you can actually see the coordinates up here. We'll actually make it a little bit more precise, if you like. If you don't necessarily know exactly where it is. So let me close out of that. We will say sure, save. And let that save. And then if we ever wanted to add another one, if you don't click any of this here, you have the add marker here. So you type in the title, the location. So we'll do like test, and we can type in. We could type in actually. So there we go. So we can start typing in the city, and it'll actually put a marker on. And I don't want to click it because I don't necessarily want to put a marker on the map. But you could click this, and you can see it's powered by Google, so it's pulling up the coordinates that Google has stored, which is really nice. And then you would just need to make sure that you click the correct category of whatever marker that you're looking to add. And that's about it, really. So let's move on to go local. We've talked about the events and festivals. Food and music, let's look at that. And I've actually gone out of the back end, so let me get back in that. Okay, so this works the same way as some of the previous pages that we've talked about, and I believe a lot of these will be the same. So shopping, yep. These will all be the same. We talked about winter fun. History is going to be different. I believe it uses the same. Okay, never mind. Okay, so that's the same thing. Okay, and this is the same as well. Okay, and this is the very last one. So that looks like that about does it. If there's anything that I missed, or if there's anything that you can think of, be sure to definitely give us an email or give us a call, and we'll be happy to help you out. Thank you.